All right.
We on?
Hit the old play button once again.
Welcome to the Mead Metal and MMA podcast. I'm Kevin. That's Brandon.
Howdy, gang.
Another week, another day, another dollar, another week, another. I don't even know where that comes down.
I'm tired, man.
It's been a long day. A lot of work at the meadery. Matter of fact, I'm always giving the mead updates. Why don't I let you give the mead update?
Well, I gave the meat updates that day when you were kind of checked out in your brain.
Which one was that? I could be confused with any one of them.
When you came back from Texas.
Yeah.
Well, Holly King, ready to go. Looking beautiful. Not a whole lot else to say about that other than the picture that you're seeing right now is the finished product.
It's ordinarily, we try to work things and like we give it time, like the Paul Masson commercials from way back when, we give no damn before the ham or something or whatever it was.
Right up there, where's the beef?
We something about time and whatever. But we'll ordinarily we'll bottle and cork in one night. And then usually maybe the next week, then we'll get the labels on, get the stripes put
usually
on.
we don't have the label ready just yet.
We cranked every bit of that tonight in one shot. And that wasn't just that. We also moved our gallon experimental. We also moved the batch 1, which smells like raw liquor.
Yeah, very, very stout for just being straight up plain mead. Plain dry mead. And
we'd moved the Holly King over to Carboy because, number one, it's easier to bottle out of the Carboy, and number two, it kind of gives one last little shot at clarification briefly, So, yeah, this is like about a 2.5-hour work session for the meadery today.
Not to mention scrubbing, sanitizing bottles.
Well, that was another hour or something like that, hour and a half before that, and then sanitizing all the Carboys and sanitizing all the racking equipment and everything else. It's been a busy day.
Yeah, but at the end of the whole process, you have quite the beautiful bottled mead for the holidays.
Which is what we're doing. We're always going the Mead for Metal campaign, and
hashtag Mead for Metal.
Yeah, not that we use it a bunch, but not as much as we should. But what we're doing, we're raising, we're taking donations to the band in order to be able to buy more equipment. And basically, you can't buy our mead, but you can donate to the cause, and we'll recompense a bottle for our loyal donors. And if you're going to donate, if you're going to throw us $20, we'll get you a bottle of the Holly King or something like that. If you're in the local area in eastern New Mexico, West Texas.
Indeed. Always happy to help.
Yeah, I think that's good for the mead update this week. It's been a busy day.
Well, yeah, you spend hours actually working on it. Afterward, you kind of fucking done talking about it.
Yeah, it's because in the process of working and everything else, we're talking about the whole time. We get on the podcast. It's like, man, it feels like we've been talking about this shit for 3 hours.
Yeah. So, fans of Skyrim, if you're ever curious to know what juniper berry mead tastes like, give us a call.
Yeah. It's mentioned right off the bat, and it's also, I guess, a Solstein thing within Skyrim. But I think I'm beginning to digress.
Yes, when you head out to Thirsk, got to go get I think you just have to get one juniper berry for the mead hefe, and then all of a sudden he's just able to make batch upon batch of juniper berry mead. I'm like, how do you make that shit stretch so much? It's just
crazy,
a couple berries.
We used a pound for 5 gallons. So
yeah, I think the dude is maybe an amateur mead maker.
Yeah, it could be. Metal, I don't know. Still kind of in awe of Metallica. I think they got a number 1 on Billboard.
Yep, 6th album to hit number 1.
Yeah, it's a great record. What are you going to do?
It is. I was a little on the fence after the first listen, which had something to do with the apparatus we were using to listen to it.
Yeah, surround sound and bass boost off of a 90s or early 2000s device is not going to do you any favors.
And it was also there's always a little bit of trepidation with the new Metallica album. So after that finally wore off, I was able to just sit down and listen to the whole thing front to back several times. It's a solid album.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it really is. If you've never bought a Metallica album before, this is the one to buy. I think get the Black album first so you have a reference point of what their heyday was.
Yeah.
I think, and then you can get into this one. And this one, though, actually will unlock doors for their older stuff before the Black album.
True. I don't know. It's weird. You have your Metallica fans like pre-Black Album, post-Black Album. That was the first true like divide between the fans. And then, of course, the whole Nasher thing happened, another divide. Saint Anger came out, another divide.
Yeah.
That was a big one. But it's Metallica is one of those few bands that can even pit their own fans against each other.
Sure. And still come out smelling like roses.
Still come out not smelling of shit at all. And people still just eating it up.
Any other new metal bands you've been checking out this week?
God, when I'm at work, I'll throw on some Devin Townsend while I'm folding laundry because
right.
My job is glamorous outside of the metering.
There's a Celtic Metal. It's a chick that's out, and it's Leah Chenry. LeahMChenry.com. Music is her /music is her deal. You might want to check that out. I'm just not a big Celtic Metal guy. I'm not.
Yeah. I'm pretty particular. Primordial is probably about my favorite, which encompasses a little bit of folk metal with a little bit of just straight up like Celtic doom metal.
Yeah. And doom stuff, I don't think we've mentioned before. I mean, I've mentioned Windhand before, but what's Electric Wizard? God, their stuff, you either hate it or you really love it, or both in the same 10-minute, 20-minute space of time.
Yeah.
But, very off the wall, very different. That's kind of what I've been listening to. Actually, I take it back. I haven't been listening to much metal this week at all, and that's thanks to Brandon, really, for getting me pretty much the latest copy of Wardruna. Their newest one in their little trilogy there for the, I think it's their like Ragnarok trilogy. But if you like a bunch of weird Nordic chant music, and it's
great,
spot on.
Great background music. It's great music to pretty much do anything. When we were corking our bottles, we had Wardruna on the background, and it just seemed appropriate.
I was hanging up all the Christmas decorations around the Mead Hall, and Brandon had to point out that, wow, you're listening to pagan music while you're decorating the tree. Yeah, it was a little ironic, actually.
Well, hey,
in retrospect.
Christmas is a pagan holiday at its heart.
Yeah, that's true. All right, we got a whole shitload of stuff to get to MMA-wise.
Oh, gosh. The end of the year has really turned out to be pretty busy after 205.
So 206, the main fight got canceled. I think we talked about that last week. Cormier and
the heartbreak,
Johnson, unfortunately. And I think at the last podcast, we didn't know. We thought they were going to try to find a late fight for Anthony Rumble Johnson. They tried to throw him Gegard Mousasi.
Yeah, but he himself said that fight does him no good.
No, I mean, Rumble's right. I mean, why would he fight? He's got nothing to gain and everything to lose.
He's actually entertaining maybe a heavyweight fight in the interim.
He would absolutely like to do that, and I think it's going to be Arlovsky is where all fingers are pointing.
The same guy he's already knocked out.
Broke his jaw, I think.
Yeah,
right?
broke his jaw. Won him. Oh, God.
So, I don't know if Arlovsky might be in on that.
No, I think that might make Arlovsky really consider retirement. Like, is this my only fight? Well, I can go act. I'm still good looking enough. Got my whole body hair situation under control. I can be in movies. You go fuck yourself.
Yeah. So
you let that guy kill somebody else.
So the 206 main card then is Holloway Pettis. I don't know what to think on that one necessarily. I mean, because Pettis, it's weird to me that if he's able to make that cut down to 145 the way he's been able to the last couple of fights, why wouldn't he fight at 145 to start with?
Well, maybe he just wasn't a fan of the weight cut in general, but I think he was just pushed out of the lightweight division by up-and-coming fighters.
Yeah.
That became a really scary place really quick.
Oh, yeah.
And it started with RDA shutting him down.
Sure.
In record time.
Yeah, so it's kind of a weird deal, but he's fighting Holloway, and man, that guy, don't sleep on that guy, because Max Holloway might have more skills and a wider skill set at 145 than almost anybody in that weight class.
He's a bad Hawaiian, man. He
not to be confused with BJ Penn, who actually turns out to be a bbbad Hawaiian, but
well, in the past he was a bad motherfucker.
Yeah, no,
credit where credit's due, but well, I don't want to talk about BJ.
All right, we'll move on. Anything else on 206 jumping out at you?
Oh God, honestly, I think the fact that they put an interim title fight, but a title fight nonetheless on that card. I mean, they're still not going to have the buys they would have had with Cormier and Rumble. But, but you're going to get all your Pettis fans coming out buying this one, I think.
Well, let's talk conspiracy theory and Conor McGregor then. Because the thought is, so Conor got stripped of the featherweight belt. And that's probably, I mean, we can probably talk about that one if you want to.
Or he just flat out gave it up.
Either way, he either got stripped of it or he just gave it up. Either way. Now, we've known that, before when he went up and he was going to get a title fight 155, Dana White, I'm pretty sure, if memory serves, I don't think, unless I was dreaming this shit, but had said, that's fine, but you can only hold one belt at a time, even though Conor McGregor was telling everybody he was going to hold two. One over the shoulder, one over the shoulder. Okay. Well, he got to do that. He got to hold that for, I don't know, a week and a half, 2 weeks, something like that. That's fine. 3 weeks maybe. His coach said that basically it was because they wanted to get Aldo moved up to being the champ of the featherweight division again and save 206 by making that an interim fight between Holloway and Pettis.
I mean, it makes sense to do that. The featherweight division's been locked up for about a solid year right now at the championship level.
Right.
And if Conor was going to take off till May for this kid, that's almost a year and a half of that belt just hanging out on a mantle somewhere.
Well, see, as Coach Kavanaugh had said, though, hey, other fighters are out for, have been out 18 months, almost 2 years in some cases.
Cain Velasquez.
But I don't think you can compare the same in this situation because Conor has not defended that belt. He's had 3 fights now since he beat Aldo at featherweight. I think actually whatever happened with that belt is probably the right move because of the fact is that if you're not going to put up a defense, I don't care if it's been a year, I don't care if it's been 6 months, but if you go out and you have 3 fights and not one of them involves your weight class that you hold the championship at, you probably don't need to be defending that belt.
Sure. I mean, if they could have, even if he could have defended the featherweight belt in February, because, I mean, he really didn't wear any damage in the Alvarez fight, enough to warrant time off.
Right.
If he could have defended the featherweight belt in February, then I would have understood them keeping them both on him.
Yeah,
because, I mean, if Conor's announced for a fight card, unless he doesn't show up for press, he's going to be there.
Right.
So you can pretty much bet that if Conor McGregor's on the card, that fight's going to happen no matter what. Even if the original dude drops out, he'll take someone on 2 weeks' notice. So
then he goes out and he gets his boxing license in the state of California. What do you make of that?
It just Conor doing what Conor does, man. I mean, it's people talking about what he's doing. I don't think anything will ever come out of it. It's just the fact that now Conor has a license to box in California. Uncle Dana would never, ever let his little boy go do that.
Well, and Dana had even commented on it. He said, well, that's basically almost the same exact thing that you said, and that is that Conor is going to be Conor. And you kind of just go and let him do his thing. Dana did point out, he said he's under contract with the UFC, so yeah. I mean, I don't see him ever getting a boxing match. One, I don't know if it's something they'll use for leverage. They keep talking about this Floyd Mayweather thing, which is ridiculous.
It's good to talk about. That's about it.
Well, it keeps people interested in both fighters. I mean, it's doing both of them a favor to keep things going. That hey, there might be one. Somebody actually posted something that's kind of interesting though. It said have 3 rounds. What is it in boxing? 90-second rounds or
3 minutes?
3-minute rounds. 3 3-minute rounds. That's right. 3 3-minute rounds of boxing, and then 3 3-minute rounds of kickboxing, and then like at the end of that, if it's tied, then they go to a coin toss. Whoever wins the coin toss picks what the next form is going to be.
It's a fucking spectacle already.
Exactly. And I mean that was a comment from some jackass on a message board. But I thought, well, I don't know if Conor could last 3 rounds with Floyd Mayweather.
And I don't think Floyd, even if he did, Floyd would not last 3 minutes in a kickboxing match with Conor McGregor.
No.
That dude would be in a wheelchair in 30 seconds.
I mean, there's no right way for them to be able to pull that off. So,
yeah, I mean, either side is chosen. If it's MMA, Conor McGregor destroys Floyd quickly. If it's a boxing match, Floyd's just going to tap and bail on Conor for probably a half an hour. Call it good. Make probably $300 million.
Well, that's the other thing. That might be of interest to Conor McGregor, because if he can get a payout of $200 million,
then he'll just go do that and tell the UFC, I'm retired.
Yeah.
Call it good. Because, I mean, that's what he's always said. He's not going to be one of those fighters that lingers.
No, he's not going to be Dan Henderson or anything like that.
No.
Which, by the way, the grappling match set between him and Jon Jones.
No kidding.
Yeah. Which, by the way, and we don't go plugging other people's podcasts or anything else, but obviously, if you're a big MMA fan, Joe Rogan's podcast is kind of the end-all, be-all when he gets fighters on there. He had Jon Jones on his podcast. I think it dropped today, this Friday. And, Jon Jones had mentioned it. He's got a grappling match coming up with Dan Henderson.
Yeah, it's got to be a good preparation for an octagon return when you're grappling with a piece of granite.
I guess. But it does kind of bring up the question. It's like, well, how is he having matches out? Well, I don't know what the ban entails. So obviously it's a grappling match that doesn't go through an athletic commission.
Well, but is it a professional event?
I don't know if it's that or an exhibition. I have no idea.
Yeah, if it's an exhibition, then it doesn't fall under any category. It's just him taking time out of his day.
I did think it was interesting, though. If you guys want to go and listen to the Rogan podcast with Jon Jones, it is a good one. And frankly, the guy is, he admitted he was kind of in a bad place, which I think is putting it mildly. But when he got himself in trouble. When he ran into the pregnant lady in Albuquerque, broke her arm and everything else. And the word was he ran away from the scene and then came back to the scene and grabbed money and some other stuff and ran away. He said he didn't grab money. He said he went back to grab his bowl of weed, because he might need that later, to calm him down.
And I believe that.
No, I think it is. Because, why would Jon Jones be running around with a stack of money?
Yeah, if he had like $300 in the passenger seat, I'm sure he can miss that and be just fine.
So I don't know. I for one, I think he's good for the sport when he's not getting himself in trouble and shooting himself in the foot. I think I'm looking forward to him coming back in July.
If he fucks up one more time and gets fired, I can't wait to see him in Bellator, because I'd like to see him fighting those gloves.
That'd be kind of an interesting deal. All right, so you got anything else for the 206 or anything else MMA related?
We got a cowboy fighting, Matt Brown.
Which I really thought that would be a solid matchup. You pointed out to me, I think, after we got on the podcast last week, Matt Brown's actually, he looks really, really great in the octagon, but, man, his numbers don't look great, and his last several fights don't look good either.
Yeah, and he's kind of drawn a shit straw here getting Cerrone, man. It's not going to be pretty.
So you think I watched Cerrone by some kind of probably I don't know. Matt Brown has got a chin though. I don't see Donald getting a knockout.
I think Cerrone lands some type of ridiculous 3 to 4 hit combination and drops Matt Brown, and then just rear naked choke shuts it down. Might be even a mounted triangle. Who knows?
I don't know. Cerrone's ground game is overlooked more than any fighter in the UFC.
Yeah, the dude, and he seems to fight angry lately. Because the last fight, when he landed that 4-hit combination.
Yeah.
Even before the fight, he said he felt like shit. Felt terrible. And then he just came out and did his work, and all of a sudden he's just fucking fighting with anger.
Rick Story didn't necessarily appreciate the outcome, but hey, but he.
However, that will live on in highlight replays for a couple years, man, because it was the most beautiful combination of attacks I've ever seen.
You know how wore out you get on the whole thing where when Pettis, I forgot who fighting Henderson, the other Henderson, Benson, but where he did the whole thing of running off the cage and coming back off and throwing an overhand right. It's going to be one of those.
Well, and Pettis is great for those highlight moments, but then after you get past all that, at 155, he became a proper joke, I think. He went from being on Wheaties boxes to just scrounging to recover from loss after loss.
Well, he was. He was the poster boy of the UFC, and suddenly 3 losses in a row. Bam, bam, bam. Drops down to 145. I think he did get a win. His first win, I think, might have been. I don't think he lost in his first bout at featherweight. That'd been kind of a little bit.
No, and I think he may have had two fights at featherweight, and I think he's won them both.
Yeah, I think he has. And
Not in spectacular fashion.
No,
but victories nonetheless.
Right.
Let me see here.
Well, but I mean, nonetheless, and I will be the first to admit Pettis has got great skills. I'm not a big fan of the guy.
Only fought once at featherweight.
Oh, okay.
And beat Cowboy Oliveira.
Oh, that was it. That was his debut.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, we'll have to see because.
One fight at featherweight, now he's fighting for an interim belt.
Yeah.
I think he's just right place, right time.
Well, same with what you think Conor McGregor should have had other fights at 155.
No, I mean it's for an interim belt. Who cares? All it is a number one contender fight. You don't even need to put that belt in there. Just be like, look, winner gets Aldo.
And it's a media draw. I mean, that if you're looking to sell pay-per-views, hey, I can't fault him. That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, but to a guy like you and me, it adds nothing to the fight. Other than the fact that that's just basically a placeholder for the number one contender, that belt. That's all it is. Not a champ. Right. That's what sucks about Carlos Condit. I want to say Carlos is a former UFC champion, but he's a former UFC interim champion.
Yeah.
And then when he fought GSP, he couldn't get it done. Then has another chance with Lawler and couldn't get it done there either.
Yeah, no, it really means nothing. I mean, Rumble had even said that too. Based on that, they'd offered him like the interim would have been against Gegard.
Yep.
But he said, nah. He said, that doesn't mean anything, And he's right. He'd be right.
Well, you get a guy that fights at 185 jumping up 20 pounds.
Well, they'd fought before, too.
Yeah.
And Rumble destroyed him. But, no, I think it's, to quote something historical, one of the first vice president under Franklin Delano Roosevelt, forget his name, Cactus Jack something. He's from Texas, but He'd said of the vice president's position, I think the same thing you could say of an interim champ, and is this job ain't worth a bucket of warm piss.
The only Cactus Jack I'm familiar with is the professional wrestler.
Yeah, well.
Doesn't have an ear.
All right, well, so let's wrap it up.
Oh, and by the way,
what do we have?
Let's also touch on this because fighting on the same card as Gastelum and Tim Kennedy.
Gastelum ain't going to make weight, is he?
Yeah, well, fighting at middleweight.
Well, Tim Kennedy's that's true.
He's not having to make 170 anymore.
And Tim Kennedy's got a axe to grind too because he's like one of them behind this whole union movement thing. It's not a union, but
yeah, don't call it a union, then they'll be in court.
Yeah,
well, but I hope they're able to. It's almost like a Planned Parenthood for MMA fighters.
206 will be fine. We'll go over next week and make our picks. And we'll do it that way, and then we'll start talking about Ronda Rousey later on down the road. So,
who's that?
I don't know. I forgot her name.
Still waiting on my nudie Metro PCS wallpaper.
Shit. Let's go ahead and put this thing in the bag.
All right. I didn't bring a big enough bag.
Hey. Well, anyway, yeah. Keep popping on here. I guess we're posting these to YouTube over on Brandon's channel. If you got some comments, cool. If they're good, then great. If they're bad, then you can go fuck yourself. Those are also appreciated.
If you want to say our opinions smell of fart, then feel free.
All right, bastards. Have a good week. We'll be back again next Friday night, and we'll be talking UFC 206 picks, and maybe bitch about our work week or whatever.
Later.